Hi, this is a continuation of the series of literary criticism and theory which I was doing all these days. And today I'll be doing something different. In my previous videos I was doing mostly about Greek critics and theorists. So in this video I'll be concentrating on a Roman critic. You guessed it right, it's Horace. So Horace lived during the Augustan age. You may know the Augustan age as Pax Romana, or the age where there was 40 years of peace during the reign of King Augustus. But Horace actually was in the beginning uh, not a supporter of Augustus. He during the assassination of Julius Caesar, he actually supported Brutus. Later, when Brutus was defeated, he had to flee and live in a separate place. Later, because of his friendship with Virgil, he was able to return his favor to Augustus Caesar. Previous critics were just critics. The previous critics who I mentioned were just theorists and critics. They never wrote anything, or they never wrote a literary work. Plato and Aristotle never wrote any literary work, but Horace was both a poet as well as a literary critic. His major work in literary criticism is Ars Poetica. Regarding literature, you would have heard of the Horatian odes. Actually, Horace is one of the father of the ode tradition. He has written a famous collection called Odes, and his form of odes are known as Horatian odes. We will see that later when we study literature. Horace was deeply influenced by the Greek critics, not only critics, by the Greek writers, dramatists, etc. He asked his students to learn to study the Greek masters during their day and toil about them, think about them during their nights and days. So this lines were actually reworked in Pope's essay on criticism that says, "Study the great originals of Greece, dream of them by night, and ponder them by day." Just like Aristotle, he gave a lot of prominence to imitations. He he believed that a poet should imitate both the life and customs of his time. Poetry should be both hedonistic, that is pleasure giving, as well as utilitarian, or it should have some kind of utility. So he gave a lot of importance to pleasure, unlike Plato, who believed that a poetry or a work of art is solely to instruct. So Horace was a person who gave a lot of importance to the sweetness of art. Poetry, the main aim of art and poetry is its sweetness. Its sweetness is the soul of a poem. So according to Horace, the main function of poetry is dulce et utile, sweetness and usefulness. Regarding choosing a theme for your work, Horace believed that a poet should choose a theme of his own liking. He doesn't have to choose a theme which is prescribed by someone else. He should choose a theme which he likes very much. Only thing is the theme should be uniform. If he has selected a theme, throughout the poem or throughout the drama, the theme should remain uniform. So who is a poet according to Horace? A poet should be a genius. Yeah, and he should also work hard. He should train his skills to the highest. So if he's just a genius who does not do any training, or a person who trains a lot but is actually not a genius, both don't become a poet. So a poet has two qualities. He's a genius, at the same time he works hard to improve his skill. To quote Horace from his Ars Poetica, a poet's qualifications include common sense, knowledge of character, adherence to high ideals, combination of the dulce with the utility, intellectual superiority, appreciation of noble history and lofty mission of poetry, and above all, a willingness to listen to and profit from impartial criticism. Regarding tragedy, Horace actually borrowed ideas from Aristotle. Horace was actually a big fan of Aristotle. So regarding tragedy, Horace actually borrowed so many ideas from Aristotle regarding the beginning, middle, and end. The middle should be actually a continuation of the beginning, and the end should actually be a continuation of the middle, and such things. He believed that tragic events like mother killing her own child, or such events, painful events, should not be shown on stage. Instead, such painful events should be reported. Regarding the role of chorus, Horace believed that chorus should be an integral part of the story, and it should not be something separate from the story. Regarding characters, Horace says that each character should behave as that a character in real life would behave. If a character is playing a child, he should behave like a child. He should talk like a child. If a character is playing a middle-aged man, he has to behave like a middle-aged man. He should have all the passions which a middle-aged man has. If a character is acting as an old man, his behavior, his way of speaking, everything should be like a old man. The term in medias res, which means into the middle of things, that's popularly used today, was actually coined by Horace. In media res is a story that begins in the middle of things. So, especially epics during Horace's time. If you look at Homer's Odyssey, you would find that the story happens in the middle of things, somewhere in the between, and later it goes to a flashback to reveal to us the backstory. This technique is used in cinemas often today. In the end, I would like to quote from the third book of Odes by Horace. I have erected a monument lasting than bronze and taller than the regular peak of the pyramids. I shall never completely die. So a poet never dies, according to Horace. So writing poetry is one way to achieve immortality. So this idea can be seen later in the Romantic poets and other English poets. Like and subscribe to Denver's Point of View YouTube channel.